In a shocking development, a terrifying discovery that has shocked the entire globe has been made deep beneath the Euphrates River. The things that can be found beneath the surface of the sea are incomprehensible, and the repercussions that this finding could have are nothing short of horrific. Join us as we investigate the unexplained results and make an effort to establish the reality behind what has the potential to be the most startling finding of our generation. You are about to embark on a voyage into the unknown, and each step could very well be your last. The Euphrates River is not only one of the world's oldest rivers, but also one of the most significant rivers. This river is the site of a significant amount of historical events. The Euphrates River is in the process of drying up as it flows across portions of Western Asia. Although it flows through Syria and Iraq, the Euphrates River is named after Turkey, where it originates. Before it reaches the Persian Gulf, the river flows into the Tigris and combines with it. It has a length of around 1,700 miles, and the average size of the basin is 190,000 square miles. The length of this river surpasses that of any other in Western Asia. Because there is typically more precipitation and runoff from melting snow during the months of April and May, the water level is typically higher. By the river, you can still see remnants of the original vegetation. In the mountains of southeast Turkey, for instance, the Euphrates River flows through xeric woods. Along the coast of the river, you will also find a variety of plants and trees, such as rose and plum trees, pistachio trees, and oak trees. Cereal grains like wheat, rye, and oat are typically grown in areas that have a greater prevalence of arid conditions. A city that was 3,400 years old and had emerged from the Tigris River in Iraq as a result of drought required a group of archaeologists to work quickly in order to complete their investigation before the city vanished once more. They were able to find over 100 antique clay tablets thanks to their quick reaction, and one of the researchers described both the discovery and the fact that the tablets had survived being submerged underwater for such a long time as a miracle. In the early part of this year, the settlement emerged from the waters of the Mosul Reservoir, which is located in northern Iraq and includes the Mosul Dam, formerly known as the Saddam Dam. The water levels in the reservoir dropped earlier this year as a result of extreme drought in the country. According to a statement issued by the University of Freiburg on Monday, the city dates back to the time of the Mitanni Empire, which was during the Bronze Age and was once situated on the Tigris River. The discovery of the city was made by a team of archaeologists comprised of both Germans and Kurds. Mesopotamia is the name given to the area between the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers, which was the setting for many of the events described in the Bible. According to the university, the enormous metropolis with a palace and other major buildings could be ancient Zakiku, which is thought to have been an important center in the Mitanni Empire. It was explained by the university that Iraq is one of the countries in the world most affected by climate change, and that, since December, large amounts of water have been drawn down from the Mosul Reservoir, which is Iraq's most important water storage, in order to prevent crops from drying out. This, in turn, caused the water level in the reservoir to drop, which in turn led to the exposure of the Bronze Age city that had been hidden beneath the water for decades. It had never before been the subject of any kind of archaeological inquiry. According to a statement released by the university, the recently uncovered ancient city can be found at the archaeological site of Kemyun, which is situated in the Kurdistan region of Iraq. Kemyun was initially uncovered in 2013, when the reservoir's water levels dropped for the first time. The university statement can be found here. But this time the archaeologists had to move very fast in order to excavate and record the new site before it was submerged once more. The excavations were led by Kurdish archaeologist Hassan Ahmed Qasim, who is also the chairman of the Kurdistan Archaeology Organization, as well as German archaeologists Ivana Pulich of the University of Freiburg and Peter Pfalzner of the University of Tübingen. They took place in January and February of 2022 in collaboration with the Directorate of Antiquities and Heritage in Duhok. The members of the team were rapidly assembled in a matter of days, and finance was quickly obtained from the Fritz Thyssen Foundation via the University of Freiburg. According to the university, the German Kurdish archaeological team was under a significant amount of time pressure because it was unclear when the water level in the reservoir would once again begin to rise. The researchers were successful in mapping the city, and in addition to the palace, which had been documented in part in 2018, numerous other big buildings, including a gigantic fortification with walls and towers, were located. In addition to it, the archaeologists found an industrial complex as well as a storage building that had multiple stories. According to the university, the huge urban complex belongs to the time of the Empire of Mitanni, which dominated large sections of northern Mesopotamia and Syria at the time. According to Puljij, the massive magazine building is of great importance since it must have kept enormous quantities of products, perhaps collected from all around the region. According to Qasim, the findings of the dig indicate that the location served as a significant administrative hub for the Mitanni Empire. The researchers were taken aback at how effectively the walls had been kept, with some sections reaching heights of several meters, despite the fact that they were constructed out of sun-dried mud bricks that had been submerged for more than 40 years. According to the university, this good preservation is due to the fact that the city was destroyed in an earthquake around 1350 BC, during which the collapsing upper parts of the walls buried the buildings. This is because the earthquake caused the upper parts of the city walls to collapse and bury the buildings. Shortly after the earthquake struck the city, the researchers discovered a variety of antiquities, including more than 100 cuneiform tablets that dated back to the Middle Assyrian period. The investigators are keeping their fingers crossed that this discovery may lead to the revelation of information regarding what happened to the city and how the Assyrians established their dominance in the region. According to Falsner, the fact that cuneiform tablets constructed of unfired clay survived so many decades submerged in water is almost a miracle. In order to protect the structures from being destroyed when the water level once again rose to its previous level, the researchers used gravel and plastic sheets that fit tightly around the structures they excavated. According to the university, the location is once again entirely underwater at this point. Not only is the Euphrates River stunning, with scenery that is sure to take your breath away, but there is a great deal of historical significance surrounding the river as well. For instance, Sippar, Nippur, Shuruppak, Mari, Ur, and Urkuk were all ancient cities that were located along the riverbanks. The wealth that was water gave the towns that were located along the river with agricultural land that was rich in fertility. Texts written in cuneiform that were discovered in Shuruppak and pre-Sargonic Nippur include the first known references to the Euphrates River. It was created in the middle of the 3rd millennium BCE. An ancient Sumerian word for it was Buranuna, and people refer to it by that name. The name of the river is pronounced similarly to that of an ancient city that can be found in what is now the country of Iraq. There is a good chance that the city and the river were divinely tied to one another in some way. Why has the Euphrates River been shrinking in size for the past several years? The various dams, the droughts, the water regulations, and the abuse of water are only a few of the many reasons why. There are a lot of families in Iraq that rely on the river, and all of them are in severe need of water. The lack of precipitation in recent years is the primary factor contributing to the evaporation of the Euphrates River. They are facing the worst drought they have ever experienced in Iraq right now. Climate change and rising temperatures are additional issues that have become problematic in Iraq and the surrounding area in recent years. Since many decades ago, this has been an issue. The drying up of the river will have an impact on more than 7 million people. Crops are failing as a result of little rainfall, excessive temperatures, and the drying up of the river. This has resulted in over 800 families abandoning their homes in the communities located near the Euphrates River. Regrettably, the historical river Tigris is also suffering from a decrease in water levels and is drying up. The water levels in the lake that was created by the Euphrates Dam in eastern Syria have just dropped, making it possible to explore a huge ancient burial site that was previously submerged. The site, which dates back to the Byzantine civilization in the Raqqa province, sprawls over large areas on the eastern bank of the Euphrates Dam, also known as Tabqa Dam Lake. The decrease in water levels of the Euphrates and Tigris that has occurred over the course of the last 3 years has made it possible for a great number of archaeological sites that were previously covered by the waters of these two rivers, which flow through Syria, Iraq, and Turkey, to be exposed. These archaeological sites were previously covered by the waters of these two rivers. These rivers flow through Syria, Iraq, and Turkey. Over the course of the past few years, The water levels in the Euphrates River has decreased to levels that are considered to be dangerously low. The quantity of water that is transferred from Turkey into Syrian territory is less than 200 cubic meters per second, which is less than half of the quantity that Turkey and Syria agreed upon in 1987. According to Abdul Razak al-Aliawi, an engineer and former director of Syria's maintenance department for the Euphrates River, the riverbed has witnessed 6 historical eras, including the Sumerian, Akkadian, Assyrian, Greek, and Byzantine eras, in addition to the Islamic era. This information was provided to Al-Monitor by al-Aliawi. Instead, Aliawi wrote that the lake that was constructed as a consequence of the dam had a length of 100 kilometers and a width of 8 kilometers, and it submerged the most famous ancient ruins that were located along the river. The lake was created as a result of the dam. During the course of the devastation, only a select few items and monuments were kept intact. As the water level continues to drop, he added that many cemeteries are located in this area, which is also thought to include hundreds of Syriac Christian monasteries. This information comes despite the fact that the water level is still rising. It is possible, on days when the sun is out and the water in the lake is rather clear, to make out the gravestones in the cemeteries that are still submerged in the lake. A few graves have been found on the right bank of the lake in the western section of Raqqa. However, he stated that the left bank is rockier, making it impossible to carry out excavating efforts. The declaration that they had unearthed a city that belonged to the Mitanni Empire and had been submerged for 3,400 years was made on June 6 by the Department of Antiquities in Dohuk, which is located in the Kurdish region of Iraq. Dohuk is one of the cities that make up the Mitanni Empire. When the waters in the basin of the Tigris River began to recede, the city became visible. That's all for the video. We will be right back with more. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.